Hey everyone, in this video we're going to learn about not chemistry but biology. So first, I'm going to talk about those basic and maybe some rules or something about uh, cell membrane. Like cell membrane is made out of phospholipid or maybe triglyceride or something. Just I mean I will mainly talk about phospholipid because it is different for triglyceride, which is made up of a non-polar head and a free fatty acid, and they don't get a phosphate group. So even they got a glycerol, they repel water, just like oil. If you put oil on a glass of water, you'll find out they repel each other. They really don't mix together. So mainly I'm going to talk about phospholipid and maybe probably some proteins. So maybe I gotta introduce protein first. So protein is what? So protein is something made up of amino acid. You can see it everywhere. Like plants got protein, meat got protein. I mean, not the meat, the cow meat like beef or pork. They also got protein. Animals meat, they got protein. Not the meat. Alright. Yeah. So I mean protein just something made up of amino acid. Uh which not only you can commonly found but uh human body can also produce or yeah human body you need to absorb or just means some, not much, but we can produce or not all, at least not all. I don't know the ratio, but not all is human can produce. So I mean basically is like maybe first talk about those proteins. For proteins, there are revised like the temperature. So basically the temperature is probably 45 degrees or because different proteins got different uh, best or yeah optimum pH or temperature. For example, like Pepsi, which is a yeah I guess Pepsi is a protein. Yeah, it just appear in your stomach. It it is need a very low acid. I mean low pH. Like you need a hydrochloric acid to make it work in the best efficiency. So actually different protein got different uh, optimal pH. I mean proteins not only can made up of different things but it can also make enzyme, which I'm mainly talking about is not protein but enzyme. Because enzyme is made up of protein, yeah right. So enzyme just what's used to break down or lower the energy need for reaction, like breaking down stuff or combining stuff together. So after we know about enzyme, we're probably going to talk about what we this video going to talk about mainly, which is phospholipid. So actually phospholipid, which is those dif differentially permeable, which is I mean those the cell membrane is differentially permeable because they just uh, somehow will let some molecules pass through, but somehow they won't let some molecule pass through, like large molecules, like probably starch. As an example, starch is a pretty much big molecules. So proteins act in those uh, phospholipid. Like phospholipid bilayers actually is. The cell membrane is actually made up of phospholipid or triglyceride, which I mean phospholipid. The difference is only the head, the, the glycerol. It's got a phosphate group, which make it is a polar. It make it polar, like the one called hydrophilic. It is not hydrophobic like triglyceride, but the fatty acid it is hydrophobic. So you need to form a bilayer. Those hydrophilic is outside and those hydrophobic is inside. So basically, uh, they won't, or I mean, even they are what we call water love. Like they actually repel water. So I want to talk about how protein acts in those phospholipid bilayers. So protein basically can mainly see five stuff in those bilayers. Like first is channel protein, carrier protein, and antigens, receptor, and finally enzyme. It's so common. Enzyme is so common, and we'll probably talk about it later because enzyme just do so many stuff, and not only in probably just digesting systems. So um, like phospholipid bilayers. I'm probably gonna talk about the rules of it. Like it can let something dissolve, which they let is those nonpolar stuff. They can dissolve in those phospholipid bilayers and pass through. I mean those small, not those big, those large. Whatever you are nonpolar or polar, you can even pass through because you're too as large. But for those small, like small ions or small small polar stuff, they can actually pass or dissolve in those bilayers, but they can pass through from what we call like carrier protein or channel protein. Channel protein is like a channel. Carrier protein is what it do for active transport. Like if we're gonna talk about active transport, you may need to know a concept of concentration gradient. For concentration gradient, it's easy, like just a rule of particles. Now we got probably a bowl of or a glass of water. Now I put some stuff inside, they actually just mix it. But if I just somehow divide them and put some particles, small particles, on one side, but they will eventually mix together. Why? Because of those concentration gradient. The concentration difference, it is working. For physics, the concentration difference will cause a force. Like those air pressure, high air pressure will go to low air pressure. It's same stuff. Just high concentration will go to low concentration. So like probably like if I use my phone, like if I divide it in half and put a eventually permeable paper inside and I pour some chocolate right here, and here is pure water, so eventually they will mix because the concentration in here is higher than the water, so it will go to there automatically. It actually just go to there. And if you want it to go faster, you can heat them. Thus they can transfer heat energy into kinetic energy. It's also physics. I'm not good at physics though. So now you know what is concentration gradient and what is those auto movement and mixing. So now when we talk about those carrier protein, how it works, they just, even though those stuff inside is highly concentrated, so it will naturally go outside, but it won't let them because it need it. So how to collect more? Just use the carrier protein. It will actively collect those particles outside into inside. Oh shit, I love it. So I mean is, it will actively collect the outside stuff into inside. That's how carrier protein works. So basically you just need to know two stuff. Yeah, for how to carry those more non-polar stuff like water. I mean, the stuff like small polar stuff like water. Maybe probably other liquid stuff, but the most common is water. And those ion like calcium, small ion. So they can just carry them by active transport from carrier protein or channel protein, passive transport from concentration difference. But for those small nonpolar like oxygen, they mainly transport by dissolving. That's it. Yeah, that's it for the basic and concept, and probably revising what is made up of cell membrane and how it works and how protein work inside, and those what is enzyme, concept of enzyme. Yeah, thank you for listening. Have a great study. Bye.